If you're having trouble coming up with content ideas for your business or impact-driven organization, this video could be for you. What if I told you that the building blocks and the magic to create this has been around for ages? Yeah, I'm talking about actually using fairy tale magic to sprinkle all over your business stuff. I'm not suggesting that you should make stuff up at all, but you can make things more interesting and tap into more of your own inspiration so that you can draw people in with your copy and perhaps the great scripts that you're going to write for videos. So I guess I should introduce myself first. My name is Eva-Lotta, and I'm a storyteller, a photographer, and filmmaker, but I also do this. I help mission-driven entrepreneurs and organizations to really tap into some of our great collective stories so that you can use them to help your customers and clients and to inspire the world. It touches on some of the things I bring up also in my REEL Storyteller Lab. So here are some of the ingredients to tell a great fairy tale. First, it's got to start somewhere, right? It's perhaps somewhere that's not so great, or it's great and then it's going to go downhill and then back again from there. But it's going to start somewhere. So, and usually it starts with once upon a time. And as you know, it often ends with, often fairy tales have a really happy ending. But what do you do in between? Well, usually you've got some opposing forces of good and evil. And if you look around in society today, you've got them everywhere, and it's easy to kind of tell who's the Grinch and who's the good guy or the good woman. And so oftentimes these opposing forces are made into characters. So you could play around with that. And there's usually some kind of magic potion in these stories as well. Magic potion that fixes everything. It could be like an animated animal or animated object, like Aladdin's lamp, for example. And a fairy tale usually teaches a moral. Cinderella's case, it kind of shows that if you really stand up to your opponent, even if you're facing adversity, you can have your happy ending. And fairy tales often uses magical numbers. I don't know if you've noticed that, but 3 is a number that you often hear, and 7 is another one. And for example, in Snow White, her stepmother tries to actually kill her 3 times. She survives because she has 7 magical friendly dwarfs to help her. And back to Cinderella, she gets 3 gifts to help her. She gets that pumpkin ride, a coach driver, and that glass slipper. And there's also symbolism present in these stories that we are very used to seeing to mean certain things. Like, for example, the mirror shows up in some of those stories, and there might be a spinster also, maybe for showing an old lady, or a spindle to show a spinster. I mean, and maybe there's a crystal ball. So that kind of wraps up what you might want to put into your fairy tale script. You don't have to use it all, but you know, it begins somewhere once upon a time usually, and it usually ends somewhere really happy. And in order to get to that happy ending, you usually have to overcome something really difficult. And you often have forces of good and evil opposing each other in the story. Sometimes they're characters, Evil Knievel, and something perhaps better than that, a nicer person than that. And usually to help you, you've got some kind of a magical potion or an animated object like Aladdin's lamp, or perhaps a magical wand, or in your case, it might be one of your superpowers. But as I often talk about also in the REEL Storyteller Lab, often our stories are much better if we're talking about our client's story than ourselves, even if we can relate to their problems because we may have been there before. So I hope this was helpful to you. And if you're having a little problems getting started and you need to kickstart just some idea generation or get into a more creative mode, I also have another video that I just did about how to create an imaginary advisory board. And you should find that here in my channel. And there's also a link to a special meditation I did that will help you do that. And it's free once you download it. And you can also connect with me and hear more about the REEL Storyteller Lab. I'm putting some links below.